Tell me, what's all this commotion about?
It's the Denton and Sasquatch Show.
This place is half talk show, half weird daycare. I love it.
Reports of strong interference with radio.
Here we go.
The sound you're hearing is Denton dying.
Denton swallows.
He spits everywhere. Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Hello and welcome once again to the Denton and Sasquatch Show. My name is Sasquatch, and the guy on the other end of the mic that's laughing right now, his name is Denton. What's up?
Hello. Welcome to the Denton. Oh yeah, Denton and Sasquatch Show.
Did you notice I stuttered a little bit there?
Do you forget who we are?
Well, you know what? For some reason, my brain just clicked into my old podcast, and I was going to say that name.
Oh, that would have been funny.
And then I thought, well, that's not going to work.
We'd be playing disco.
But yes, this is the Denton and Sasquatch podcast. I'm coming to you from California. Denton there is in Alabama. What's going on, my friend?
Well, I don't know. I've just, what have you been doing today?
Today, not a whole lot.
You mean nothing productive, or?
Yeah, nothing really productive.
Well, I was doing productive things, I thought.
Well, that's good. Well, I did some laundry. That's about it.
Well, you're not married.
This is exciting radio.
Sir, other than going to the stores, well, I didn't go to the stores. As usual, I'm in the parking lot reading the news.
Mm-hmm.
And read the news and, just the usual drudge and that kind of stuff. But I also plunder around at my two favorite websites. Have you ever heard of taurusarmed.net?
I have. I've heard of them. You speak of them often.
Well, you know why?
Because you're there?
Yeah, I'm there, and that's where I read a lot of stuff. It's taurusarmed.net because those people there, they get together because of, first off, Taurus weapons. I personally have 6 or 7 of them. They're very good weapons at a very reasonable price. But you can go talk about that and all kinds of stuff at taurusarmed.net. Now, if you are of the mindset that somebody somewhere is going to screw up so royally that it's going to be cataclysmic for regions, countries, and the world, or if you're just pretty sure that a tornado or hurricane is going to just ruin your day, you can come to prepperforms.net, and that's also where I go to plunder around because everybody thinks that we're doomed, drink up. But hey, just in case we're not totally doomed, prepare at prepperforms.net.
Might as well get some info while you can.
That's what I say. Now, put taurusarmed.net and prepperforms.net. You have a feller that's got plenty of beanie weenies and has a means to defend them.
Well, speaking of websites, not really a website, but we do have an email. So if anybody ever wants to email us, you can do so at dentonandsasshow@gmail.com. Speaking of which, I did just put that up on our YouTube page today. I filled in some of the info. So if you go to our YouTube page, same thing, Denton and Sasquatch Show, you can find info about us there. Contact us there. Or just watch our podcast.
You keep on telling everybody it's Denton at sasshow@gmail.com. People are going to start emailing you. That's your problem because I don't answer it.
I'm still waiting. We've had one guy, Fang Farrier. He has emailed me a few times.
No, good. Fang's a good feller.
Yeah, he's a fan of the show.
Hey, look here.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to get into my rant. Actually, it's not a rant. It's my, what in the world are they thinking?
Well, it'll turn into a rant. I'm sure of that.
Well, I hope not, because I really don't feel like ranting. I'm in a fairly decent mood today.
All right. Well,
I read something about Hillary is now blaming Fox News.
She's blamed everybody else. Why not Fox News as well?
Well, the thing I love about it is, and this is what warms the cockles and the subcockles of my heart, is that Hillary has not gotten over her loss.
Of course not. It was her birthright.
Yeah.
She thinks.
So never mind the fact that they're looking at really investigating her. She's a little bit freaked out over that. John Podesta is in deep doo-doo. Everybody, I mean, it's really looking like the elite are throwing her to the wolves, which she should understand that her and her husband, Billy Bob, they are not the elite. Okay, they were just some little lapdogs for the elite. And he got compensated by being allowed to be president. But she's thinking that she is also Billy Bob. She's not.
She was so unlikable that she couldn't do what her husband did. I mean, you got to give Bill Clinton one thing. At least he's likable, you know?
Yeah.
When you hear him speak, he seems like a pretty decent guy. Whether he is or not's another story. But her, oh my God, you just couldn't stand listening to the woman.
Screecher. I mean, really. But, and I know that sounds chauvinistic. Look, the facts are the facts. She's a screeching, howling maniac. Okay. But she is not Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is the one that did all the he's the one that's governor and allowed the CIA to fly in drugs to meet Arkansas and that kind of stuff. Okay. Not Hillary. So chill out, Hillary. Relax. Disappear before they come and put 2 bullets in the back of your head and have a suicide note typed out and, gem clipped to your bra around your belly button.
The one thing I did not need to hear tonight was the word bra and Hillary in the same sentence.
Yeah, what's wrong with that, bra? Sorry. Anyway, the actual thing that has kind of irked me is while I'm in the car in the parking lot of a shopping center waiting for the wife to come back with my groceries to make me a sandwich, I go to the National Geographic, which I always thought was, real news, right? No. This is an article by Simon Worrell. It says sea levels are already rising. What next? Did you know they're rising?
That's what I keep hearing. That's what they keep telling me. I haven't seen any evidence of that, but okay.
Well, that's what they say. Well, I've been to the beach several times, in my life, being this close to the Gulf Coast. It's going to happen, and you're right there at the Pacific Ocean. I'm sure you've seen shopping malls disappear into water, right? No?
Not a single one yet.
Okay. Well, climate change is battering coasts with storms and floods, but we still haven't grappled with the risks of what's to come. Climate change is battering coasts with storms and floods. Did you know that?
That's what they keep telling me.
It used to be it was just, a storm and a flood happens. That's just what happens. But now it's climate change, and climate change is understood to be man-made climate change. This kind of stuff, let me continue to read because it's just, might as well get through this garbage. President Trump has dismissed climate change as a hoax because he's not stupid. But scientists project that within the next 100 years, rising levels caused by climate change will submerge much of southeast Florida, including Mar-a-Lago, his beachfront Florida White House.
Yeah, but don't they?
Years from now, what's going to happen with the climate? Who can't tell me rightfully what's going to happen where I live next week? And you think they understand that he's going to be dead by then? They couldn't project his death in 100 years. They really couldn't. And a new category of exiles will be created, says Jeff Goodell in his new book, The Water Will Come, and the water will flow. That's why they call it ebb and flow.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is Jeff Goodall giving that book out for free?
I'm pretty sure he's not.
Well, there you go. That's probably the answer for why he wrote that book.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, I'm sure. I can't say he's not giving out free. Who am I? I'm not a climate scientist. I can't say what I don't know for certain. But I'm going to assume he's going to sell them.
Yeah, he's going to sell them to people that have fallen victim to the scam of climate change.
I was going to say stupidity, but that'll work. When National Geographic caught up with Goodell at his home in Saratoga Springs, New York, which last time I checked is not really attached to southern Florida, although there are plenty of New Yorkers living down there now, he explained how water contamination is one of the greatest threats from rising seas. Why? And that's true. If the seas were to rise, if that happened, it would contaminate fresh water. We can all agree with that, right?
Well, it would contaminate any fresh water close to the ocean.
Right.
What about all that fresh water we have that's nowhere near the ocean?
Well, he's really making a case for southern Florida, the peninsula down there. So, yes, if there was enough sea level rise, it would contaminate freshwater supplies, which would cause refugee problems unless they had forewarning that this was happening.
Well, why doesn't he take some of that money from the book and build some desalination plants?
What? Spend his money?
Problem solved.
That doesn't happen that way. You spend other people's money.
Oh, that's
a
right.
democratic way. So, okay, contamination. Yep, sure. Why poor nations are demanding compensation. Poor nations are demanding compensation because of rising sea level, which is not actually happening, is contaminating their water supplies, which I don't care, and they want compensation from, of course, us. And how President Trump's policies are causing people and states to push back. We're not pushing back here. I know you guys are.
Well,
aren't you?
Yeah, I can't even speak for California. They've gone so far off the cliff. It's comical now at this point.
Well, just don't let anybody grab hold of you and drag you down with them. Now here's a little thing right here. It's in bold letters. After Hurricane Irma, Governor Rick Scott of Florida said, so many areas that you never thought could flood have flooded. What does this tell us about climate change and rising sea levels? Okay, he said that after Hurricane Irma. Hurricane Irma caused sea levels to rise, is what they're kind of indicating here. Really?
I know they're indicating it, but it's just plain stupid.
I guess you're not supposed to read this particular article until about 20 years from now, but I happen to get it now. So I am very familiar with Irma. All this stuff is in my head, and I'm thinking, you guys should have put this in a time capsule, okay? My grandkids may not have understood what happened and would have believed this crap. I hope not. Hope they didn't have my last name anymore anyway. What Governor Scott's remarks say is how poorly we understand the risk of what we face now and in the future. The idea that areas flooded that we didn't think could flood suggests that we don't have a very good sense of what the risk is along the coastline, especially in Florida, where we continue to build out at an incredible pace. Actually, no, you moron. We actually do understand the threat and the problems down here because we live down here. But we also understand that Irma just came up and it just perfectly whacked the coastline there. Okay, it's causing surges right there at the coastline because I went right along it. It's like it was a razor slicing off a piece of ham. It was beautiful. Unless you live there, they wasn't so beautiful, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it flooded where he didn't think it could flood. But that's never happened before that I can recall in my 53 years of existence. And I'm pretty sure Rick Scott hasn't seen it either. But that doesn't mean it was because of global climate change, let alone man-made global climate change.
Well, there was a time in this country when living near the ocean or beach was looked down upon because the only people that lived there were it was thought to be dirty. Everybody thought, oh, the ocean's dirty. Fishermen were the only ones that lived there because that's how they made their living. But everybody else lived inland. And then it became popular. The rich started moving into the coastal areas, and now it's exploding everywhere. So we get a little bit of rain, a little bit of flooding. Everybody freaks out.
Well, that sounds like it is down here. Around here, it was basically rednecks that lived on the coast side, But then you were able to build up with condominiums, and people want to go to the beach. So they made nice beaches along the Emerald Coast down here. And now it's a big tourist attraction. Big money to be made down there. But here's another thing. They're trying to say that because of rising sea levels, we're having damage to the ecosystem around here and to our water supply and to structures. That is not at all the truth. The truth of the matter is that we haven't had any sea level rise. I'm at skepticalscience.com, where This is a climate myth. Sea level rise is exaggerated. We are told that sea level is rising and will soon swamp all of our cities. Everybody knows that the Pacific island of Tuvalu is sinking. Around 1990, it became obvious that the local tide gauge did not agree. There was no evidence of sinking. So scientists at Flinders University, Adelaide, set up new modern tide gauges in 12 Pacific islands. Recently, the whole project was abandoned as there were no sign of a sea change or a change in sea level at any of the 12 islands. But you keep on tinkering with the coastline, building this up, doing this, digging that, you're going to cause issues along the coastline, especially down the south where it's not like it is up here in the Panhandle, where you've got the ocean comes up to the beach and blam, you got pretty much solid ground. Fill up some condos. You suck because you did that, but you're going to do it anyway because you got to have that damn money, you piece of crap, and I can't see the ocean anymore. Never mind, it's my own rant. Okay, and then you go on into the mainland. Down there in the peninsula, it's not so solid. You're talking limestone, you're talking sinkholes, all kinds of stuff down there. Okay, so you build along the peninsula area, and you're going to have issues. Eventually, it's going to catch up to you. But it's got nothing to do with man-made global climate change. It has all things to do with man-made global dum-dum.
Hey, let me ask a real dumb question here.
Okay.
Well, not a question, but okay, water seeks its own level, correct?
It does.
Everybody pretty much knows that. Now, if I have a glass and I fill it halfway with water and then I throw a big chunk of ice in there,
yeah.
When that ice melts, does the glass go up? Does the water level
go up? No, it goes down.
Well, I would think it would stay the same because you have a mass in there anyway. It's just changed to liquid.
But there's air in ice cubes.
Yeah, I suppose so.
If you have a glass of water and ice, when the ice melts, the level drops because you're releasing all the gases out of the cubes and it's being replaced by water, solid water, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so the level of water goes down.
That would make sense. So if the entire Earth is a glass, and even if the ice all did melt, I'm thinking it would either stay the same or, like you said, release the air and the levels would go down.
I would think that's the way it would work, yeah.
Well,
but
if anybody's smarter than me, which I know everybody is, hit me up at dentonandsasshow@gmail.com and explain that to me.
Now, the sea level rises cause other negative effects apart from the flooding, doesn't it? You suggest coffins and septic tanks may soon be floating around again. Mm-hmm. True. If that were the case. And then the article goes on to talk about because of global warming, which they mean man-made global warming, there are going to be more and more intense hurricanes, which is in fact cannot be found to be true.
Well, didn't we have 12 years of absolutely nothing?
We did have 12 years of pretty much absolutely nothing. I mean, it was a point where it meant nothing to us.
And they said, well, that's climate change why we're not having them. And then we have some, well, that's climate change why we're having them. It's like, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah. So here we got this cat that's writing a book that means pretty much nothing. But it's all revolving around CO2. And if it wasn't for that pesky CO2 in the atmosphere, which they have determined is a pollutant, we wouldn't have climate change. Well, there's one thing for a fact. If we didn't have that pesky CO2 in the climate, we wouldn't have the plants. And if we didn't have the plants, we wouldn't have the cows, which means we would be pissed off and hungry because we didn't have our cows and we'd be dead. So one thing would be sure of is the fact that we wouldn't have any man-made climate change because we'd all be cotton picking DED dead. Okay, but it's not CO2. The most reputable scientists understand that we have climate change because of the sun's cycles. And I'm not talking about 10-year cycles. I'm talking about hundreds of year cycles that drive us to cold climates and to hotter climates Stop blaming me for all your cotton picking woes. And as a matter of fact, they're not blaming it for us for their woes. They're making us the scapegoats so that we will give them more money.
Well, that's what it's usually always about. Follow the money and you'll get your answer.
Yeah, but this whole little bit of a rant is all because the National Geographic, which introduced me to bare boobs at a young year.
Very floppy ones, but yeah.
They still count. It's kind of like Ron White says, Anyway, I won't go down that road because it's not very nice. But, if you haven't listened to Ron White, just listen to one or two of his little things and you'll hear the little boob thing. But the National Geographic is now, I can't trust them. Everything's fake news. The only thing I can trust is what I hear on the Denton and Sasquatch show.
Exactly, because we know everything.
Yes, well, we have an opinion on everything. And that's what counts, really. Okay, done.
Well, I mean, just like I said about this guy trying to sell the book, he's not selling that book to you or me because we're not going to buy it, because we're literally not going to buy it, but we're figuratively not going to buy it either because we know different. He's selling that to the people that have been duped by the climate change scam, and that's exactly what National Geographic's doing. They're trying to get that group to come and read their articles, go to their website, whatever it is. That's really what it's about.
I wish the left would do like I do. I wish everybody, this sounds bad, I don't buy Ann Coulter's books anymore.
Why's that?
I already know what she knows and what she's going to say. I read the same news. I mean, I used to enjoy her sarcasm, but I don't even enjoy that anymore. I haven't bought a Michael Savage book in a long time. Mark Levin. I don't buy their books.
Well, it's the same with all these people, though. I mean, when you first encounter them, they're saying something you've never heard before, or at least in a way you've never heard it before. So it's fresh. It's interesting to you. After you've heard their shtick, I mean, most of these people have a shtick. Even Rush has a shtick. I've never been a huge Rush listener, but I can't really listen to him anymore because I already know what he's going to say.
Yeah.
So
and that's why I don't listen to him. It's not that I hadn't heard it before or heard it that way. 20 years ago, I just wanted to be, I wanted reconfirmation of what I believed in.
Uh-huh.
And now I don't want that anymore. I want to go and get information on my own, and I want to see if I'm right. But I'm not willing to pay this jackass money to bounce my ideas off his. So I'm not going to help Ann Coulter make a bunch more money or Rush or anybody else, but I'm not willing to read his stuff. I'd rather go and search the internet because there's a lot of places that you can get a lot of information, and you put the two and two together and you realize, no, this crap right here is bull crap, because I've been to the beach the last 50 years and I've noticed I put my blanket in the same place and I'm not underwater when I do it. And yes, I do use a compass and a sextant. I do know exactly where I'm at on the beach. But I do know that they're not moving the road or the stores. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I can't tell from the sand in the ocean, but I can tell how many steps I have to take to get there from the road.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
they're full of crap.
I've told this story before, but if there's anybody new out there listening, I'll tell it again. I have surfed just about all my life, and I've surfed the same break for the past 30 years, and I go there all the time, and the water level's the same every time. I mean, it comes in and out with the tide, of course, and rises and lowers, but it hasn't changed. There's some cliffs there, and they're eroding away from getting pounded by the surf constantly, but the city comes along and throws a bunch of rocks down there and keeps it up. The roads haven't fallen in. People haven't died. It's the same.
So there you go. There you've got it from a retard from the southeast who's a diver and a body surfer of the northern part of the Gulf of Mexico, and a genuine, actual, true-to-life surfer boy from California. There ain't no climate change.
A surfer squatch.
Surfer squatch.
Well, and like, Denton and I always talk right before the show a little bit before we start, and I was telling him, my opinion is there may be climate change, but it's something that's been going on for millions of years, will be going on for millions after I'm gone, and there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, that's exactly why people cross land bridges to get from one place to another, because their area it wasn't habitable anymore, so they had to move somewhere else. That's how people moved around the earth, and we populated the earth thousands of years ago.
So when it's warmer, enjoy it. Grow more food. When it's cooler, I'm going to enjoy that, and I'm going to eat the food. It's going to be okay. We have survived all these thousands of years, and we didn't blame ourselves. Stop blaming yourself. Don't beat yourself up because some stupid politically driven scientists tell you it's your fault. It's not. Now go crank up that V8 engine and do 120 while eating a Big Mac and throw the styrofoam thing over anyway.
Well, don't do that. That's littering. We don't like littering.
Well, that's true. No littering. Littering's bad. I'm sorry.
But if you want to club a baby seal, that's okay. No, that's not okay either.
No, yeah, it is too. And I really, really do want to eat a sea manatee. A manatee. They call them sea cows for a reason. I do. If somebody's willing to go get me a chunk of sea cow or manatee, I'll pay you top dollar.
This again, huh?
PETA is going to be all over. Yes. Well, I guess we drove that. This is the third time we've hit the climate change, but it's because I was reading the news, or at least I was reading National Geographic in the parking lot, waiting for the wife to bring me my groceries. But I had to do it again because it just irks me. Sorry.
Yeah, it is a pet peeve of mine as well.
So what else we got to talk about?
Well, I had an
Hillary lost, by the way. Did you hear?
Oh,
Hillary
did she?
Yeah, she did.
I still love watching those videos of the faces of everybody when she lost.
I still love saying that Hillary lost.
I can't get enough of those videos. But anyway, no, I had a somewhat interesting night last night that got me thinking about something. No, I have a group of friends that I've known for a very long time. And, as you get older, you kind of grow apart. Everybody, you start a family, you get different jobs, you move across the country, whatever. Well, every year we try to get together right before Thanksgiving and have what we call a Friends Thanksgiving. So we all get to see each other. And last night was our Friends Thanksgiving. So, we all made a dish, went over to one of the people's houses and had a nice meal. But of course, during meals, people talk. And
they shouldn't.
Yeah, probably not. And, these are my friends. You sit around and you tell old funny stories and things like that. That's always fun. But the evening always evolves into politics.
Oh, those darn political people.
Yes. And a lot of my friends are leftists. I have to say that. I mean, no. which isn't surprising because this is California. But
where did you find them in California?
Well, that's the thing. When we were younger, we didn't care about politics. We just cared about drinking and having fun and doing stupid stuff. But now that everybody's a little bit older, in our 40s, it's kind of important to people. And so as I sat there last night listening to everyone the thing that struck me was I couldn't voice my opinion because if I did, I would have been attacked. So I sat quietly and listened. Which got me thinking, where do we go next? I mean, has this country gotten to the point where we've become so polarized from each other that we can't actually sit down and have a conversation about what we don't agree on? Or, are we just below the boiling point where next the only place to go is to start killing each other because we don't agree? So, I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that out there and see what you thought, and I thought it was kind of interesting.
Well, I think it is very interesting. Well, first off, did you stay quiet because you would have been attacked, or did you stay quiet because you didn't want to ruffle feathers?
No,
there's a difference.
We've never gotten into it that much, my friends and I, talking about politics, but in the past, we've had some discussions on certain things, and I was attacked. Now, I can hold my own against them. I have enough facts and figures and things like that I could hold my own, but last night, I just wasn't in the mood, so I just sat quietly and listened to them, talk about Trump and how horrible he is and how he's the Antichrist and Hitler and all this kind of stuff.
What would have happened had you asked questions?
Well, I probably would have been targeted as a right-wing extremist, and they would have attacked me anyway. And see,
Okay.
that's the thing that I find funny, because if it were the other way around and there were a bunch of us who are, let's just say, more constitutionally minded, and only a few of the lefties, and they were spouting their stuff, we wouldn't have attacked them. We would have talked with them. But it seems like when you are outnumbered by the left, they attack you.
I am in a position where I can talk to 2 or 3 at a time, or 1 at a time. I don't have to deal with a whole gaggle of them at one time.
Well, there were about 20 people just gathering, so.
Yeah, it'd be like you against a platoon of people. I understand that. But where I'm at, I can talk to 2 or 3 people at a time that are left wingers, or 1 at a time. The fun thing is to ask them questions and see if they can respond logically, and then continue to ask them questions and continue to box them in logically. Now, you can let them out of the box, or you can go ahead and slaughter them. It's up to you.
Well,
Depends on how you're feeling that day.
And that's the thing. A lot of people, and I'm sure some of my friends, once you kind of back them into a corner, then all they can do is, they're so ingrained, it's so in their head that their way is the right way, and that they know that if they run out of answers, they'll just start calling you names.
Yeah, and that's the best thing to do, is instead of boxing them totally in the corner and then slaughtering them, at which time you're the bad guy and you're going to get all these names, just ask the questions, box them around a little bit, and then let them out. And then either they're going to come to a logical conclusion, or they're going to make more fabrications in their mind to where they're going to be right. Now, you can't do anything about the fact that they could do that. But if through your tactics you allow their brain to process information that they have gotten down through the years, or maybe you gave them some through your questioning, your style of questioning, maybe they'll realize that, oh my goodness, I'm as stupid as the day is long. Now, a buddy of mine, this is decades ago, and that's scary I said that. This is back when Bush Senior, or George H.W. Bush, was running for president. And we just decided we was going to go to the Democrat campaign headquarters in Dothan, Alabama. And we kind of asked a couple of questions and got them a little bit started and kind of led them in a direction. There were 2 guys at the counter there. And when we walked out of there, they were arguing with themselves. I mean, a heated debate whether or not George H.W. was a communist or a Nazi.
Well, there you go. There's the name calling. When you don't have any argument, you start name calling, which the left's favorite is Hitler. So
yep. So the fun thing about it is we caused them to argue with themselves, and we just kind of chuckled and walked out. Well, it was fun.
That is funny. Well, my story about my friends, though, is just sort of the jumping off point of this conversation I'm trying to start here.
What would happen? What would happen if we had a flare-up in Orange County, California, or Los Angeles, or wherever you're at? Hollywood. Please don't tell me you're in Hollywood.
No, I'm nowhere near Hollywood.
Okay. But there's some kind of a fight, a war, shooting war, okay? Would you shoot your friends?
For my own protection, yes, I would.
Do you think it would come to your own protection? Would your high school chums shoot you in the head with a bazooka?
Well, no. I mean, they wouldn't. If it were to come to that, it would come to that over a long period of time. But at the beginning of a conflict that started out, no, they wouldn't turn on me and just start shooting.
Is there any possibility that there's enough people who know enough people, although no, I think in your area, there's some conservatives there. Is there enough interaction, just people interaction, where they would not do that within the community? I mean, sure, Soros can bust in a bunch of idiots, but would those idiots be enough to get everybody else that are like-minded to act the fool like that?
Well, no, and the reason I say that is because, and who knows why he did it, but Trump came to California, right? But before the election, and did
because he ain't scared.
Did one of his rallies, and it turned into violence because of not the conservatives that went to see him, but the left that went there to protest him, and they were lighting things on fire and smashing cars that they thought belonged to conservatives, and the typical stuff. But that's another thing that makes me wonder. I mean, it didn't get to the mass critical point there, or the boiling point, but it was pretty close. So that's what makes me wonder, as far as the entire country goes, are we so polarized now that is something that it is going to happen, or are we going to back off now? And
you're asking me.
Clear heads prevail. Well, I'm asking the question to anybody that's listening. Just I'm trying to get people to think. But yes, since I'm talking to you, of course I'm asking you.
Okay, because let's have a moment of silence for our audience to answer. Okay, well, I'm going to speak for people who think like me, and the rest of them I can't speak for you. No, I don't believe that it's going to happen, and I'll tell you why. Antifa.
All right.
We discussed this a couple of weeks ago. Antifa was supposed to have their day of revolution, and it's going to be the beginning of the end of this country, and they're going to burn it to the ground and rebuild it to their liking. That was the biggest fizzle, I mean, there I am. I got a 6-pack of beer and a bucket of popcorn. I got the TV set on, and I'm just waiting to watch the mother burn. You know what? Nothing happened.
That's true.
And this was their big push. This is their Tet offensive, and nothing happened. Now we got them. We got what we hear about the Black Panthers. We hear about Black Lives Matter. What we did Soros run out of money, by the way? Because these things aren't happening anymore. The only thing you got is Maxine Waters. I'm going to impeach Trump. I'm going to impeach Trump.
No, I think you misunderstand her. I think you misunderstand.
Did you hear that Trump drank water? He drank water? I'm going to impeach Trump.
No,
we have these fruitcakes that are trying to stir up dissension, but it doesn't seem like we're really catching the fire.
You misunderstood her. She said she was going to eat a peach in her trunk. Oh, well, never mind everything I said, because she's moving to the country. She's going to eat a lot of peaches. That's okay. No, your point is well taken, and it's right on, actually. That they were supposed to have their big blowback, and they were going to march in the streets until the Pence and Trump regime was out of office, and absolutely nothing happened. So maybe it is getting to the point where people are starting to realize that the news is lying to them, and they're not listening to it anymore. And people are getting to the point where they're realizing, you know what, I got to get up and go to work tomorrow. I got a mortgage to pay for, so I don't have time for all this crap.
Yeah, but here's the downside to that. When they go to really pushing tyranny, those of us who say, I'm a patriot, I'm a constitutional-minded American, and if that tyranny stuff comes this way, by God, I'm going to grab my guns, I'm going to blow it right in the noggin. Really? You going to skip a week's worth of work? Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll donate my ammunition if somebody's willing to go do it.
Well, and right there, I mean, those are two opposite ends of the spectrum, which I think most normal people are in the middle. One, you do have the sort of, I guess you would, a typical word would be like the militia guys who are just begging for a fight, waiting for the government to fall so they can start shooting people. But then you got the Antifa idiots on the other side that are doing the same thing, basically, even though they want to start it and stir things up. But really, I think most people in the country, in the middle of that spectrum, are people on the left and right that are just like, hey, I just want to get up and go to work and come home and eat dinner with my kids, and
I really don't see it as left or right. I see it as anarchist and really extreme Patrick Henrys. Okay, I don't care if you're left or right. I mean, Nazism and socialism about the same thing. It just depends on who's controlling the industry. You know what I'm saying? They are way over yonder who are wanting to take down the country to bring it to either Stalin or Hitler's glory days, depending on what political bent you are. And then you have these other folks over here that, like us, that are, take away there and then bring it back a few is us. But you have those real hell-bent for other ones that are Patrick Henrys that are ready to go now. But they have something in common, both sides. They ain't got jobs. If they did, they wouldn't be out there doing anything. They'd be going to work, like you said.
Well, I mean, they've got an income stream somehow because they live. It's either taking money from the government, or maybe they got a small little business where they can do their other junk on the side. I don't know what it is, but
George Soros.
Yeah, I mean, it could be getting funded that way, but yeah.
So from my point of view, I don't think we have to worry about anything because most everybody, I mean, unemployment's down to 4% now. I don't know if you hear. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard some numbers earlier in the week.
Yeah, 4%. That means most of us are at work, which means most of us ain't got time for this stuff. We got boats and cars and house payments to make.
Well, I heard a thing on the local radio here today or yesterday where they were touting Orange County is at 0% unemployment, and I thought, well, that's just a lie because I see too many homeless people walking around.
Well, those people just got off work, and they're trying to make a little extra money.
Well, I mean, that's just part of the where they, there's certain people they don't bother counting, so their numbers aren't true. But yeah, I do believe that the numbers are down.
I'll go along with that. I'll go along with that. The numbers are down. Actually, I don't know if I really do. I just threw that out because I heard it on the news, so I know more than fake news. Because we do know that people drop off the rolls.
Yeah, I mean,
so what do you do with them?
People retiring and other people.
No,
that just
people have been on
work.
unemployment until they can't get unemployment anymore. And although they have fallen off the unemployment rolls, they still don't have a job.
Yeah. There is that. That's just them playing with the numbers.
No, that's true. Stats don't lie, but statisticians do. But either way, I just don't think we're going to go to war. I really don't. I just enjoy collecting ammunition.
Well, you can never have too much ammo.
Or money. Or bourbon.
All those things.
I just threw that one out.
Well, you want to end on a good note, a happy note?
We always do. It's got to be funny.
Well, I hope so.
All right.
I don't know if you'd call this.
Hoping.
I don't know if. Well, I call this funny. I don't know if you'd call this funny, but a man in Florida is fighting fighting for his home and his squirrel. Just don't call it a pet.
He's fighting for his home, and on a side note, his squirrel. Is it now? Which one's the side note? Is the squirrel the side note, or is the home the side note?
Well, the squirrel is why he's losing his home. Clearwater.
Oh, then the home's a side note then.
Clearwater Beach resident Ryan Boylan has been served a notice of eviction for keeping a squirrel inside of his condo. But according to Boylan, this is no pet; it is a service animal. Bring some beer. According to a complaint filed by the condo association to Boylan and the condo owner, exotic animals are not allowed. Boylan rescued the squirrel during 2016's Hurricane Matthew and helped nurse the critter back to health. Once healed, the pair became inseparable. Unfortunately, the housing board at Island Walk Condominiums found out about Brutus after a dog chased the squirrel up a tree in April. Boylan, who was diagnosed with anxiety following a car accident, claims that Brutus medically helps him reduce his anxiety levels. A prescription for an emotional support animal was written by Scott E. Murphy, Ph.D., who provided a doctor's note confirming Boylan's claims.
First off, when did squirrels become exotic?
Well, that's true. I mean, you can find them just about anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think their reasoning for exotic is like it's not a parakeet or a cat or a dog or a fish, your normal pets.
Oh, okay. Now, is this a gray squirrel? He's just like a normal squirrel.
Yeah, he just looks like a little regular squirrel. He's cute.
No, well, no, tree rats usually are.
Yeah.
But it's a gray one, right? Looks kind of gray, white and gray type.
No, he's more brown.
Brown.
Maybe he's
Chipmunk?
ground squirrel. No, he's a squirrel. He's got the big fluffy tail, but maybe like a ground squirrel.
Okay. But and he's got anxiety issues.
That's what he claims after a car accident. I mean,
He's got anxiety issues after a car accident.
I don't know about you, but I've been in plenty of car accidents, and my anxiety level's about the same.
I was on that, what do you call it, high risk insurance for several years.
You know, I do know a way that the homeowners association could take care of the problem. It's called a 22.
Or at least a pellet rifle or a poisoned piece of cheese. But okay, so he's got anxiety issues because of a car accident. Oh, sorry him. Okay, but he's going to take a little animal that is by nature a nervous Nelly. What, he feels better about himself because he's got a critter that's even more nervous than he is? Have you ever seen those little bastards run across the yard?
Oh yeah.
You know, they are so nervous that a hawk is about to eat them, they can barely stand themselves. So he uses a squirrel as a security blanket?
I guess so.
Well, you know, so I always feel that way too. I mean, at work, I see somebody that's a retard. I think, you know what, I'm stupid, but I'm not him.
You know what's funny about this? I mean, I understand, and I know there are some support animals. I mean, they've done studies where they show that taking dogs into old folks' homes really helps them out because it makes them happy, and you know, petting a dog can lower your high blood pressure and things like that. But really, this is a first world problem because I guarantee you, there's no hut in Africa somewhere where they're worried about getting eaten lions, where this guy or somebody has, a support porcupine.
I don't think they have porcupines over there.
Yeah, well, of course they do.
Okay, well, all right.
I've seen shows where lions were trying to eat porcupines, so I know they do.
Hey, Sass.
Yes.
I've got, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I have anxiety issues.
I would believe that.
Well, I do, and I need an animal. Could you have somebody bring me a manatee?
Why did I know that's where you're going with? See, that's the thing. You can't eat your support animal.
Sure you can.
Should we?
All it takes is a proper utensil.
Should we deliver your support animal with a side of ketchup or mustard?
That would be great. Mustard. I like mustard. I like mustard on the manatee. Well, I guess we butchered this week.
Well, that's what they pay us to do.
Yeah, I guess I butcher it like I want to do that manatee. Well, Sass, it's been a lot of fun.
It has been fun, as usual.
I know nobody's learned a damn thing, but I hope everybody had a little fun. And like you said, that's all it's about. And this is going to be posted at the taurusarmed.net, prepperforums.net. We're going to drop it over there at minds.com. And you can also find it at YouTube. And, of course, called Denton and Sasquatch Show. But, of course, you can find it Podomatic. And if you are really a fan, which I know we have two, it'll just come to you naturally on iTunes.
That's true.
And when you want to tell us how great we are, this is why we don't get any emails, but still, Denton and Sass Show at gmail.com.
Hey, you're welcome to tell us how horrible we are, too. We welcome that as well.
No, I don't, but I'm not going to read the emails. Sass is.
Yeah.
While you read emails, I'm going to be at the range shooting my 308 with my KDM cans suppressor on it, so I don't have to wear earmuffs, because I really enjoy doing that.
All right. Well, I think we got all our plugs in. Let's wrap this thing up. I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat a manatee.
Hey, I'll be over there in a few hours.
Or a squirrel.
Well, I guess what? We're done. Hey, Sass, I don't know if anybody's told you. I'm pretty sure we're doomed. So what do you think we ought to do?
I think we should drink up.
Good night, everybody.
Moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat me a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. Peaches come from a can, they were put there by a man in a factory downtown. country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. Moving to the country, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. Moving to the